Is anybody out there? Hello, hello. Out there. Hello, hello. Is anybody out there? Hello. Is anybody out there? Hello, hello. Is anybody out there? Hello, hello. Is anybody out there? Oh, hello. Is anybody? I know that there's a game on. That means that everyone's out there watching the game or not. Can you type? Holla if you hear me. No. Type in the chat box. Hey! Okay, I see the hellos. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Sean. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is the Wealth Week. It's day 14 of the challenge, y'all. Oh, my goodness. I cannot freaking believe that it's day 14. Oh! Happy New Year, as I always say. So to any of the new challengers, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Coach Your Damn Self Challenge. If you do not already know, I am Natisha Willis, master coach, trainer, and creator of the Coach Your Damn Self Challenge. To help over 10,000 women, really to support over 10,000 women, to provide a resource for over 10,000 women to coach themselves to self-mastery in life, health, wealth, spiritual life, and business. And today we are talking, it's week 3, it's day 14. We're talking about the Wealth Week. And if you are new to the challenge, welcome. So happy to have you. We've been having some issues with our emails. So you may have gotten this email about the live training, and I wanted to invite you to the training no matter what, so that you could be able to attend and see me live and maybe get some questions answered, so on and so forth. So we've already, week 1, we went through life. Week 2, we addressed health. And this week, we're looking at wealth, so our money or our time. And so I do have a question before we go ahead and get started. Make sure that you can hear me, number 1. There we go, there we go, there we go. All right, I see the hellos. Hey, y'all. Oh, Monica, you heard me singing, but you couldn't type. I'm so happy that you can type now. Where was I? Oh, okay, so Wealth Week, right? And I'm going to show this here for anyone who, with these different, okay, here we go. So this is what I like to call the hierarchy of self-mastery. And as you know, like I mentioned, we started with life, which is the foundation, right? So we started there. We addressed basically all the foundational things that help us to achieve everything else that we want to achieve in life. So for me, that was my mental health. So making sure I speak to a therapist on a regular basis. And as we went over in week 1, therapy does not mean that there's something wrong. It actually means you want to keep things right and tight. As an entrepreneur, oftentimes we are faced with stress, right? Stress, anxiety, depression, these are actually normal things. And so making sure that you have someone that you can talk to on the foundational level about foundational stuff is vitally important in order for you to keep moving up to these high levels, right? So then last week we spoke about health and all the different things that will help us achieve our health goals. And for me, I today got this little water jug from Walmart that I'm super excited about. Now. But I'm super excited about because I want to get my water in. My goal is 3 liters, right? So every day throughout the challenge, you're receiving a journal exercise that will help you to achieve your health goals. Now, a little birdie told me that there are some of us who are feeling overwhelmed and behind. If that is you, type 1 in the chat box. Let me hear it. Let me see the ones. If that is you, that you're feeling overwhelmed and behind, let me see a 1 in the chat box. No one's. So no one feels like they're behind. Just want to make sure I'm clear. If you're feeling even the tiniest bit behind, like you're running out of time, let me see a 1 in the chat box, please. Okay, 1.5. Okay, cool. Not overwhelmed, but definitely behind. Okay, cool. Late starting, no problem. Okay, good, because I want to talk to you. Number 1, there is no late start. The really cool thing about the challenge is it is at your own pace. Okay, so I want to ensure that you know this. Cindy, I think I know that you're on day 3. I think that was our fault. We're working on that. Okay, cool. Not overwhelmed with the challenge, overwhelmed with everything else. So here is one of the things that I want to make sure that you are aware of. Okay, number 1, the challenge is meant to be a challenge. We're incorporating some new things into our lives, right? And when we incorporate new things into our lives, our schedules, oftentimes, as we create new habits, hey, shout out to Monica, thank you. As we create new habits, we will sometimes fall off, right? So like my water, my goal is to drink 3 liters a day. That's 3 of these little jugs. Some days I may make it, some days I won't. But the challenge is that no matter what happened the day that I didn't make it, that the next day we start over and we keep trying. Okay, this is one of the ABCs to success. The letter K represents keep trying. No matter how hard it seems, it will get easier. So I say that to say, no matter where you are in the challenge, that you keep going. If you find that you missed a day of emails, your schedule, maybe you woke up late, everything kind of got messed up, wake up the next day and start over. It's all good. The point in the challenge is to get us in the habit of keep moving no matter what. If we have to take a pause, if something blindsides us and makes us stop, no matter what, we keep going. No matter what. That's right, Valerie. No matter what. Because that habit of not giving up, not stopping, no matter what, is going to help you in every other area of your life. It's going to help you in dealing with anxiety, because as leaders, when we grow and begin going to the next level in our lives, in our existence, right? When we go to the next level, we begin to feel anxiety, and there's fear that comes sometimes, that sometimes overtakes us. And in order for us to fight that fear and whoop that fear's ass, debo the fear, don't let fear debo you, right? In order for us to do that, we have to continue moving no matter what, okay? And so the challenge, even something as simple and as small as fighting to journal every day, fighting to reflect, right? You have to become a good fighter. And sometimes that fighting just means pulling this out and just writing for 2 minutes, writing a couple of keywords, right? And so we have to get in the habit of fighting. Okay, so that's number 1. So there is no behind. The challenge is meant to help you practice with keep going no matter what. Okay, for some of us, that means, hey, sending me an email at coachyourdamnself@gmail.com to let me and the team know that you're not receiving the emails. Some of us, our challenge is speaking up for ourselves. Some of us, our challenge is saying what we want. Some of us, our challenge is simply moving forward every day. All of us are experiencing different things as we go through this, right? And it's meant to help you become ultimately a better person, the best version of yourself, and a bomb-ass entrepreneur, okay? Or badass entrepreneur. So if you are facing any challenges, it's normal. It's a challenge. It's supposed to happen. So I wanted to remind you and put that in your, drop that seed in your spirit that it's all good and it's natural and it's normal and this is what's supposed to happen. Okay. So, if you are facing anything that you have not yet emailed the team about, please shoot us an email at coachyourdamnself@gmail.com. I see a couple of people saying I'm behind. Again, there is no behind. This journey is yours. This highway is empty. Ain't nobody on it but you. Now, I might be on my highway and you might be on your highway, right? But there's nobody in our lane. So there, in essence, there's nobody ahead of you. We're all traveling this path together. As long as you can hear my voice, whether live or recorded, as long as we are all in the land of the living, we here together. So there is no behind. No one is in front of you. No one is behind you. You are it. Where you are is right where you're supposed to be. Sometimes when we say we're behind, that language automatically puts guilt inside of us, right? And so the challenge is not meant for you to feel guilt. Coach your damn self, right? Ordinarily, you may speak to a coach about what you're dealing with. Well, now in this space, you have to coach yourself, meaning get yourself out of that, whatever it takes. For me, oftentimes that's what these journal exercises are for. Oftentimes when I need to remove myself out of a space, a head space, a mental space, and transition into another space, I have to dig deep and find out, why am I feeling this way? How can I change it? What do I have control over? What can I do better? What can I improve on? What areas do I need to work on in order to make this happen? Okay. So these are the things that you want to begin asking yourself. If you are feeling a way that you do not want to continue to feel forever and ever, amen, you have to begin identifying and trying different things in order to get yourself out of that space. I'm going to share, since this week we're going into wealth and money, right? I'm going to share some of the things that I have done in order to move myself out of a particular space, especially as it relates to wealth. Okay. So if you were to listen to any of the podcast interviews, not too long ago, I did a podcast interview with Dominique Brown of Your Finances Simplified. I want to make sure that's him. Look, I think that's the name. I believe it's Your Finances Simplified. And during that conversation, one of the things that he told me that really just kind of stuck a pin in my balloon. It is Your Finances Simplified. One of the things that he told me during that podcast interview was basically, if you desire to be an entrepreneur and if you desire to move or transition out of your full-time job, until you understand and get a handle on your personal finances, your company or your business finances or financials, the financial statements, the budgeting, all of that will not succeed. Because basically, whatever you do in your personal, with your personal money, you're going to then do that same thing with your business money. And when he said that, like, it literally made me like stop, because I knew in that moment that I was not doing the best job that I could do with my personal finances. Okay. And so some of the things that I've tried, if you look inside of your starter kit, under finance or wealth, one of the wealth resources that I provided you with was the Live Richer Challenge, through which was created by the Budgetnista, Tiffany Aliche, or Tiffany the Budgetnista Aliche. And it's a challenge similar to Coach Your Damn Self, but 100% focused on finances. And so if you are in a place where you know that it's time for you to get your financial house in order, I'm going to encourage you to sign up. To date, she's helped over 300,000 women save over $20 million working on their personal finances. So that was one of the greatest resources that I had, okay? Another resource that I use, or some of the things that I've tried, was an app called Digit. Actually, two apps. One was called Digit, and Digit was basically a way for me to automatically save money. And I would connect it to my card, and I'll send you these links, by the way. So don't worry, you can type them or you just hold on, but you will be receiving a link to them. So you'll have them. I'm actually posting them in the Facebook group. So make sure that if you are not in the Facebook group, make sure that you join us. So Digit was the first app that I tried that basically helped me to begin saving, right? Because remember, we're talking about Coach Your Damn Self tools that will help you to achieve your financial goals so that you can master your finances yourself, right? By yourself. So Digit was an app that did that, totally free. It connected itself. It was basically an app that connected to my debit card. And based on my spending habits, it would save a certain dollar amount daily, right? Which was perfect because I wasn't used to saving. And this wasn't that long ago, like maybe 2 years max, because that's not how I was raised. We didn't save, we spent everything. And so what I found was with Digit, I was able to begin saving, right? I was able to begin, I didn't have to think about it. So from Digit, I then instituted BillGuard, which is another app, okay, that you can put on your phone, and it tracks your spending so that you see exactly what's going on. You see what you're spending on. You can create like little buckets as it relates to the different areas that you're spending on. So for me, eating out was like a huge bucket. So I would be able to see and organize every expenditure, and every swipe of my card, I could organize it into the bucket that it belonged in. So now that BillGuard is actually called Prosper Daily. Okay, so Prosper Daily was another app that I used. I also separated my checking, my personal checking, my business checking, and my bill checking accounts. So I have multiple accounts. The accounts that I use, I primarily bank online, with the exception of my business account, which is First National Bank of Pennsylvania. I need to shout them out because I promised that I would. fnb-online.com. Amazing. I love small banks. That's where my business account is. And the reason that I use them is because I can walk in the branch. So if you're in Maryland or Pennsylvania or Ohio, they also do online banking. But especially if you're in Maryland, please go holler at the branch in Columbia because they're awesome. I love them. So I separated my accounts, right? So I had an account for when my check came out. When I got my check from my job, I basically had automatic savings. So about $50 or so would first go to I have an online account with Ally, which is an online bank. Then my check would go into my main checking account, and I would separate what I'd already written out was my bill money. I would separate that into a separate checking account. Okay, so I've got a checking account that's specifically for my bills, and then I've got money that's for my personal. Well, then I began to take stuff out of my personal, some of the money in my personal account, and move some of that into my business account because I was still investing in my business from the income from my job, right? So hopefully that's making sense. Okay, yep, just wanted to check and make sure that there were no questions. So I was basically having these multiple accounts. Just recently, I decided I wanted an account at a Black bank. So I opened one of those. I think it's United. Think United is the one, right? Well, here's the thing. I had all these tools and I had all these resources, but what I was finding is that I needed accountability. I needed someone else who cared about my finances. And so even though with me putting all these things in order, I don't know if you're like me, you might be stronger than me, where you love the finances and you're on top of it. And all you need is to go ahead and separate them accounts and you got it. Natisha is not like that. I'm a single woman with a full-time job, building a business on the side and a huge community of over 1,400 women. So I need accountability in order for my stuff to get done. So even though I had all the tools and the resources, accountability, so I could go to even the next level after that. So first I did the groundwork, right? The next level for me was working on my credit because I want to buy a house. So Dominique Brown, I reached out to him since that's what he does. That is what he does. He helps people with their credit. And I hired him. And one of the first things that he had me do was to lay out all of my expenses, everything that I was spending money on. And for me, because I was spending my job money on my business, I had a lot of recurring expenses, and I still do. My email system, my payment system, my website, all kinds of things that were coming out every month, right? So I knew exactly where I knew exactly where a portion of my money was going. I also recognized in laying out everything, that a lot of my money, I didn't know where it was going. I had no clue. I knew how much I should have, about $600 or so, but I didn't know where it was going. $600 to $800, anywhere from $600 to even $1,200 a month. I just didn't know where it was going. This is my real, true transparency moment. Well, what I found out is, number one, I was scared to even find out, to even look into where this money was going. No matter how Dominique would send these text messages, which I love. He sends text messages to all his clients. He sends emails. He follows up. Hey, what's going on? How's the budget going? But I found that I needed something even more than that. I needed a person to sit down with me and talk to me. And let's go over this thing together. Because if I'm left to my own devices, baby, it ain't getting done. Cindy, okay, you said you just like me. It wasn't getting done. If I got to do it by myself, as a single woman, my family is in Chicago. I'm in Maryland. Like, honestly, when it comes to my own personal growth and development and me becoming the best version of myself, and I live by myself, there's nobody here to remind me or check in on me or threaten me or motivate me. Like, everything is based on me. And what I found was, man, this is not enough. I've set up these accounts. I've got these apps on my phone. I'm not looking at them. I'm signed up for this credit repair. I'm not following through on what I'm supposed to do. So what I eventually did was I hired a bookkeeper. And our arrangement is that every 2 weeks, she pulls my accounting, all my books, all my spending, and we go over it. That is what I needed. However, what made our relationship even more glorious than what it already is the fact that I had already done the foundational work. I already had everything I needed. Carpe Diem says, I'm pretty tight with tracking my finances, but that's because I haven't created wealth or disposable income. That's awesome. That's awesome. I, on the other hand, have a lot of disposable income. So I wasn't tracking it. And so having yes, it's absolutely, we only talking about personal finances. We haven't even touched the business finances. We only talking about personal, because what happens is what's in your personal, whatever habits that you have adopted or created in your personal finances, those exact same habits is what you're going to take into your business. And if you want to succeed and excel, you have to learn how to identify where you're weak and bring on people who are strong in the places where you're weak, and create accountability for yourself. So identify where you're weak, strong where you're weak, and create accountability for yourself. And so that's basically what I did by hiring a bookkeeper. Shout out to Genesis Enterprises out of Texas. I found her on Facebook. I'm telling you, all the bomb ass resources I have found lately have been on Facebook. So together we walk through my finances literally twice a month. She does my taxes. When I had an issue with the IRS, I had literally just hired her and then got a letter from the IRS. Talk about good timing. So make sure that there is a piece that, yes, you coach your damn self, which is awesome and amazing, right? And when we began recognizing our fears, because I know I have fears when it comes to making a lot of money, right? And if you're on my personal page, you may have seen some of them. You know, me asking about, well, you know, what happens when you get super duper huge? For me, I'm scared I'm gonna get a big head. So I want to remain humble. You know, humility is my fear. Jaleesa says, finances are my passion. It's part of what I'm doing in business. I've been gifted in managing finances since a young age. That's awesome and amazing, Jaleesa. I'm so happy for you. How do you plan to take it to the next level? Because all of us, there's always a next level, right? Cindy, that's nice. Thank you. I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna try to make sure I don't get a big head. I'm working on it. That's part of why I'm keeping people around me who will ensure that I stay grounded. So we looked at the numbers, right? And as we do every week, it's time to make, I feel like I need some gold music. It's time to pull out the pyramid. We're going to identify some of our financial goals, okay? Because we all have them. As we do every Sunday, this is the really cool piece about the challenge. I want to remind you, the point of every week is not to achieve every goal that you've ever set. It's really to identify one goal, one set of resources that will help you, what your fears are, identify who can help you, call them, and reflect on what you went through and how it helped. Cindy say, I need to get the red shoes. That's cute. I will. Carpe Diem, I know you talked about hiring professionals to help manage life, but do you have suggestions for people who have not yet manifested the funds to cover that? I think I've provided almost all the free resources that I have. What I have recognized is that oftentimes, and this is just for me personal, I don't know if this is your story or not, I have a tendency to automatically say I can't afford something instead of looking and asking myself, how can I afford it? How can I make this work? So when we say have not manifested the funds yet, then what I have found works for me is getting crystal clear on what I'm already spending, right? In the Bible, it talks about being a good steward over the resources that you have. So when I'm looking for money, what I find myself doing is getting crystal clear on what I'm already spending and identifying how much money I need in order to cover whatever this new thing is, this new resource, this new tool, and looking inside of my spending for ways that I can funnel money toward this new tool. Sometimes it means making do with what you have until you can get the new tool. Sometimes it means doing your research and using Google or some of these free challenges that are out here to find out. Again, the Live Richer Challenge is the best resource I have for you. Absolute best. The first year, it was all general, basic finance, like an overarching. The second year, it was focused on saving. The third year, it was focused on credit, which is now. This year, they're focused on credit. And every year, it's about 30 days. Yeah, about 30 days. If you are looking for the other thing, right, as we're looking for funds, sometimes there are a million ways to make money. There's a Gary V YouTube video where he talks about buying stuff from the dollar store and selling it on eBay. Look for that. He gives away an entire way for you to make money. Sometimes it's about increasing, like actually doing the work to create more funds in our lives. I talk to people all the time about what they've got going on and provide suggestions for how they can increase their income. And let me tell you, the first thing they tell me is I can't do that. When you begin to create in your mind create in your mind first, because everything starts here. I don't care what you have, it starts here. Here. What you think you have, what you think you don't have, it starts in your mind. If you begin to think, how can I make this happen? What do I need to do in order to create more money to buy this, to invest in this, to make this happen? Who do I know that already has this thing that I'm looking to achieve? Right? Because remember, every week, we're reaching out to a human resource. These are the actual things that I do. When I'm looking for something and I'm trying to find something, I do the research. I figure out what's stopping me. I identify who can help me, what other tools I can use on my own first, and then identify who can help me, and then I reach out to them. Rules apply. So you want to begin looking at who do you know. First off, making sure you do your own research first. That's the foundation. You always want to do your own research first. Okay? Hopefully that's helpful. Cindy says, my struggle is real. I've set up a 12-month budget. I'm not sure what a 12-month budget is. But let me ask you this. Let me ask everybody this question. Does anybody else need help with setting up a budget? Hit 1 if you need help with setting up a budget. One, if not even if you need help, but if it would serve you to host a class around setting up a budget. 1, if it would serve you, because we can do that. Okay. More than likely it'll be Wednesday. 1. Okay. Who's on the call that can take stock of some of these names, please? Cindy, Carpe Diem, Crystal, AJ's. Here, better yet, shoot me an email to coachyourdamnself@gmail.com with the subject budget, please. And we're going to set up a separate call. coachyourdamnself@gmail.com. with the subject budget, please. And we'll get that done for you. Step 1 to setting up a budget is writing down everything that you spend money on. Thanks, Cindy. Every single thing that you spend money on, that's where you want to start. I recognize that some people are watching who are unable to type in the chat. And so that's why I said, please make sure you shoot an email to coachyadamself@gmail.com with the subject budget, please. And we'll get you set up with some resources. So let's take a moment. I'm going to grab the Cricuts. Like we did last week. Last week we had Cricuts on the call. And so we're going to take note. Oh, thank you. All you people take note. I got my paper. Take note. All you people take note. And here's my pen. So that's what we, when I was in undergrad in the sorority, that was one of the chants that we used to sing. Okay, so we're going to take a moment to write down some of our financial goals. Okay, remember on Sundays, this is what we do every Sunday. We're going to get the goals down. The financial goals, which may be make a certain X amount of dollars, which may be separate my accounts. For me, one of my biggest goals is to make sure all of my automatic stuff is coming out of my business bank account. So all your financial goals, I'm gonna give you just a few moments. Okay, so you should have some of your financial goals written down. Does anybody want to share? Interestingly enough, none of my financial goals have to directly do with money. Identify planned spending was one of mine. Separate business spending from personal. Make sure business auto drafts are coming out of my business account. Look for my business debit card. I done misplaced it. What are some of your financial goals or things that have to do with your or wealth? Things that have to do with organizing your money, organizing your wealth. Feel free to share. Just one? Is there one? All right. Lower debt, save 10,000, complete $5 challenge again. Okay, love it. AJ's, Jennifer, develop an alternative business opportunity, begin working for myself. Love it. Uju, create a budget for business marketing and helpful services. Love it. Natalie, separate my accounts. Uju, create passive streams of income. Love it. Join the Live Richer Challenge, Natalie. Excellent. Let me tell you, the Live Richer Challenge, one of the things that I love and one of the things that happened for me during the challenge is that I fell off. I wasn't opening the emails every day. But what I have found is that even without opening them every day, I can go back and look at them and do the activities and read a little bit. So no matter what, that's what I want to encourage you to do. Okay? If you sign up for the challenge, you know that it's something that you want to work on, set it up, put it on your wall. Okay? So as we frequently do, you're going to pick one of your financial goals. Turn in my annual report, get a business credit card, save at least $200 a month, you go. Pay off $18K in student loan debt. You better get it, Jaleesa. So as we always do, right? We're creating our pyramids if you are not already using the one inside your starter kit. Okay? So we've got the goal at the top. Goal at the top. Okay? Now we want to identify 2 ways, 2 tasks that will assist us in reaching that particular goal. Okay? Again, this is laid out for you also in the starter kit. But this is how we make sure that we achieve our goals. Now, one of the questions that has consistently come up is how do you choose which one? That's entirely on you. The thing about goals is that we will have multiple at any given time. All you have to do, ask yourself, well, which one do I want to achieve first? Which one is the easiest that I can do immediately? Okay. When we ask ourselves which one when we achieve our easy goals first, that gives us momentum to keep going because we've already gotten started. Sometimes we want to try to achieve the most difficult goal first. Well, when we try to achieve the most difficult, sometimes we get discouraged and we fall off. And I want you to be able to keep it moving. So with that in mind, one goal. Easiest one. 2 tasks that will help you to achieve it. 2 specific actions that will help you achieve that goal. once you've got those two actions, beneath those two actions, right? Okay. The goal, the two actions that will help you achieve the goal. And then beneath that, it's almost like you're creating another pyramid. See these lines? We're going to talk about the barriers, the things that will keep you from doing this specific action. Okay? We always want to look at the barriers. That's us looking forward. Things that might happen that will keep us from moving forward. I made a post the other day about how building a business, really building your life, is a lot like chess. And so we think oftentimes, we do this in all aspects of life. As women, we are always thinking about, okay, so I need to go to the grocery store. What's going to prevent me from going to the grocery store when I get off work? Okay, I need to stop over here, make sure I get some gas first. We're always thinking that way. Now we just want to make sure that we're thinking that way for our finances, right? So we want to think all of our goals. We have a goal. Here's what I need to do in order to achieve the goal. What's going to stop me from achieving the goal? And think about that in advance. And then in response to that barrier, identify how I can achieve that goal no matter what. So basically how I can win the fight against the barrier, how I can overcome the barrier ahead of time. So goal, two ways I can achieve it. And beneath the two ways that I can achieve it, two barriers and the response to it. Does that make sense to everybody? Let me know if that does not make sense. This is the same, every week we do the same process because I want us to get used to doing it. It's a work. It's a proven system. It works. Okay, cool. So this is the money. If we can begin to handle and address our personal finances, our business finances will be a breeze because we will have already developed habits inside of the personal component that will then take over into the business component. And really managing your wealth, managing your resources is one of the keys to achieving self-mastery. Remember, self-mastery hierarchy: life, health, wealth. These are the things that in order to be a badass entrepreneur, now mind you, this is our own personal stuff. We haven't even talked about, we have not even talked about how we can help other people. We are focused entirely on ourselves. This is how you become a badass entrepreneur. You achieve mastery in your own areas first. And here's the thing, a common misconception. It doesn't mean that you're perfect in all of these areas. Au contraire. What it does mean is that you have identified what you need in those areas and you're clear about it. Before I went through this process, I knew that I needed help, but I didn't know what I needed help on. But as I continued to do my own work, to coach my damn self, I was able to get crystal clear. No, I need somebody. When I hired Dominique and he was sending me these text messages, I'm like, dude, this is great, but I need somebody to sit down with me every week or two so we can look at my money. But it wasn't until I made the first step that I was able to then see the next step that needed to happen. Sometimes we allow fear to make us think I need to know all 10 steps ahead of time. No, you know the one step, take that one. Once you take that first step, the next step will reveal itself to you. Cindy, I'm telling you, we all have to focus on ourselves. That's why this is Coach Your Damn Self. This whole Coach Your Damn Self is all about you. All about you. Before you try to coach somebody else, coach your damn self. So I think that is it for tonight. Are there any questions? I love it, Monica. Monica says she said the exact same thing to her son on Friday. I'm assuming about coach your damn self before you try to coach somebody else. You see, I'm getting my water in. We just finished health, so I'm like serious about getting my water on. If there are no more questions, we can wrap it up. Let me know. If you are watching this after it aired live, please make sure that you join us in the Coach Your Damn Self community. We are so happy. We would love to have you. Coach Your Damn Self does not mean that you need to be a loner. So come on through. Come into the community. Come into my room and share. Can you cover? I didn't incorporate. My feeling is make money first before you start trying to incorporate. Build an audience first. Again, do one thing. Sometimes I didn't, I did the LLC thing and didn't make a penny. If I had to do it again, I would not do that. I would begin building the business before I start doing all the paperwork and stuff. That's my own perspective. Other people will tell you something different, but yep. Thanks, Cindy. You have a great night too. If there are no other questions, remember, if you are interested in this budget, please send an email to Coach Your Damn Self. That's CoachYadamn self @gmail.com. Yeah, my accountant told me to do sole proprietorship for the first year until we making funds. So that's what I'm doing. All righty. All the leaders, I will see you in the Zoom. Zoom. Yeah, taxes ain't no joke. I told you the IRS called me. Fortunately, I had just hired my bookkeeper, and she does taxes too. Okay, I don't see any other questions. All right, you stay blessed too. Thank you. All right, y'all leaders, I will see y'all in the other call. Good night.